Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is that you're listening to this. Welcome to episode 37, 36. I don't know what episode we're on actually, because the last two have been in conversations with, so I have no idea which episode this is. I can quickly find out. Episode 38 we're on, episode 38, so there you go. I mean, I don't know why I bothered looking, because everyone that's just clicked on it will see the episode in the title, so I don't really need to do that. But anyway, the other voice you can hear, as usual, is Simon Townley. How you doing, mate?
I'm very well, how are you?
Yeah, I'm alright. Been a nice day today, hasn't it?
A beautiful day. That's why I'm sat in my garden in the evening. It's it's been a good day.
I think your house is on fire, mate.
I know, I've just put a log on fire pit. I know, it's one of them, isn't it? It's been a bit shit in lockdown for the last couple of weeks because the weather's not been as good as it was at the beginning of the lockdown, so it's nice to have it back.
Yeah, it was mad, weren't it? Because the first few weeks were just insanely good weather. And after that, it's been indifferent and a bit shit recently. And then today, out of nowhere, I remember you on phone last night saying it's going to be 26 tomorrow. I was like, what? And I checked on Amazon and all that, and it were. And today, absolutely sweltering. It was that hot, I even took my top off.
Look, mate,
I never take my top off. But you do it all the time. You're middle of winter, you're there with nipples out. I never take my top off.
I've got a beard, but I've got no body, by the way. Anyone who's watching this thinking, I must be proud of it. I've got no body.
Just a pigeon chest.
Yeah.
But I've been sunbathing me today. I don't know if you can tell.
Yeah.
Tell you what, you will be able to tell. There you go.
Jesus.
Look like one of the... What's it? A drumstick lolly.
Fucking hell, that...
Love that, yeah. You've used it already. You can't use it again. You can't use same joke. We have loyal listeners, mate. We have loyal listeners.
If it weren't for the fact that I was trying to be professional, thinking, shit, people that can't see, I need to explain this properly. And then I just fell over my words. I'm like,
You're not on brand today.
I know, well, interestingly, I was going to put, I had my shirt laid out ready, but because I've sat in garden, it's a bit cowed.
Bit what? Cowed?
Bit cowed. So
to be fair, I've left window open in here. I've not had AC on because it's been rosting. So it's a bit chilly down here, to be fair, as well, but I can't feel it because of my sunburn. Notice how I used that on that time.
Yeah. Can't see the transfer of the sponsor.
Exactly. Just before we get started though, I forgot to do this last couple of weeks, but I haven't been shouted at, so that's good. But I just want to give a mention to our sponsors, Pitch Footy, because like I said, I have forgotten to do it last week. But when I do the podcast, you will notice I do put the branding down at the bottom, so I think I'm kind of getting away with it by doing that. Yeah. But I just want to give a quick mention to the guys over at Pitch Footy. Obviously, not a lot of football going on, but there's still loads of content on their app. They're doing their own sort of like Instagram Live every Tuesday as well now with John Solarco. Do you remember him? He used to wear the big scarves on Soccer Saturday. He used to play for Palace as well. He's doing that every week and stuff like that. So that's good. And there's still quite a lot of stuff on the actual app as well. I do a video every week. So you can go on there and answer my videos and stuff like that. So yeah, there you go. Give it a download if you haven't already. And when the season does start again, then it will be there, ready, waiting for you with all the content that they have. Because
not long
I'm going to say that was my perfect segue into the fact that the season has come. Well, we haven't got a start date, an official start date as such, but obviously they've said that the government have said, sport can return behind closed doors from the 1st of June. And obviously the lads came back to training this week, as they did at every single Premier League club.
Yeah, have you seen? Are they actually back at training? Is there any?
Well, I don't know if they've started or what, but Joe Hart put a picture up in his Burnley kit yesterday in a car saying, "Let's see how this goes." So that to me would suggest that he went to training. However, Eric Peters
that's just general anxiety every training day.
Oh, he's not going to be wearing it top though, is he? But it's like, there's a few things that are made me think that I think they're doing it, but they're doing it in staggered sort of like days, because there's days, I think Eric Peters put something up saying on Sunday saying on my way to at Burnley official today, so he went in on Sunday. Joe Hart put something up today which is Wednesday saying let's see how this goes, but yet Eric Peters were putting stuff up on Instagram of himself doing some that ball work and some weights at home and stuff like that. Are you alright there, mate? You're searching around for something?
Do you know when you think I've seen something, I'll have to do it, but looking for wife's phone. I just sat on it a minute ago and it was not there now. I'm going to give it to her, but it's alright.
You alright? Have you got your Bob Law blanket there? I see.
Yeah, it's in it. Good on that.
Where's your flask?
That's good banter.
Where's your flask?
I ain't got a flask. It's summer, mate. We're on beers.
True that. Man's finished because I was spending that long waiting for you, mate. I drank most of it. I drank all of it. It's gone.
Sorry.
Yeah, to those of you watching and listening on another day, it is actually currently 23 minutes past 11. Sorry, 21 minutes past 11. I am knackered. I've been on COD without you, mate. That's how long you've taken. I've been on COD without you. But going back to the training thing, most of the clubs have gone back to training this week. There's been some shots of Chelsea in training, United players going to training, Everton players going to training, Liverpool players going to training. Have you seen anything from any of the players? Obviously, you're in contact with Louts and stuff like that. Do you know if anyone's back or anything?
Honestly, I have not seen a thing. I'm intrigued myself. It's one of them things. If they are back, fantastic. But like you said, there's no evidence of it being back yet. And I don't ring them up every day or anything and say like, right, what's the review, lads? But
I would.
I do have like a casual chat with them, and I'm under no sort of I don't actually know, mate. I'm not gonna lie.
Fair enough. Another thing today that the club finally got round to announcing was the refund plan. Obviously, me and you have spoken about it recently. That they finally announced refund plans for the tickets. Obviously, people are still paying for the season tickets and still paying for tickets that of games that haven't been on. I'll just quickly have a quick read of the article that the club put out today. They said, we are able to confirm that all supporters with tickets for the Clarets remaining 4 home Premier League fixtures of the 2019-20 season and the away fixture at Manchester City, which was scheduled for March, are now entitled for a full refund. This follows confirmation from the government that all remaining fixtures of the current campaign will take place behind closed doors if and when played. All 2019-20 season ticket holders and match ticket purchasers will be entitled to a credit or refund on a pro rata basis for the 4 fixtures, and will also be given the option to make a donation to Burnley FC Youth Development. Now, I haven't read the article in its entirety, but as far as I'm aware, hold on, just quickly, I have scrolled down now, that's all I needed to do. The 2020-21 season tickets, the club fully appreciates the uncertainty regarding the start of the 2020-21 season and whether next season will begin with supporters in stadiums. As and when we have further clarity on this, we will communicate with supporters. So, as it stands, if you have a direct debit for next season, you're still paying it, but the money that you've paid for last season, you will get back. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I'm glad you've explained it though, because without sort of being pedantic, I think the way that they wrote it was a bit sort of technical. I think they needed to sort of make it a bit more clearer. I
mean, I gave them a bit of stick this week. I think it's been long enough now, and the official line from the club every time they've got a bit of stick for not giving refunds, because so many clubs have already given refunds so far. I know for a fact Man United and Everton have already done it. I believe West Ham have already done it. That's something that I heard off someone on Twitter, so that's not an official source. But it took them long enough to do it, and the official line was always, we're waiting for confirmation of the Premier League as to what's happening. Now, they've now changed the tune to say the government have said that no supporters will be in. Well, the government said this quite a while ago, if I remember rightly. The government were always saying that nothing's going to happen in terms of big gatherings and for a long time. So I think eventually what's happened is more and more people have decided to get a bit pissed off, and they've eventually cracked.
Well, do you know what? I'm a bit embarrassed myself, because a few weeks ago I brought it up in a sort of softly approach, because there's this thing with Burnley, because we are a small club and we are a small.
It's the mentality, isn't it? Small club mentality.
That you don't want to be that guy that turns against the club. No one wants to be that guy. But this has been wrong weeks ago, and I brought it up slightly then, and I'm a bit embarrassed that I didn't sort of push it further, because, again, it's the fear of sort of being outed as, oh, you're not a real Burnley fan.
Well, honestly, mate, that's exactly what happened, because I started giving him a bit of grief the other day. I'd bit him a tongue long enough. I'd seen a few other people start giving him grief. And obviously we've got the platform of Turfcast, which over Twitter and Facebook has like 6,500 followers. So I just retweeted it, saying retweeted the news that Everton had done it, and I said, why are Burnley still twiddling their thumbs? That's all I put. I didn't really go in hard on them. I just thought, you need to do something here, Clarets, because a lot of people
need an answer.
Burnley's a deprived area. We don't like admitting it, but in terms of the statistics, it is. A lot of people can struggle for money around Burnley, best of times, and now especially. But exactly that. I said, why are Burnley still twiddling the thumbs? Immediately I started getting abuse and grief and stuff like that. People sharing it, saying, hate fans like this. But without people, asking the question, then we might not have got the answer so quick.
Well, sort of quick is...
so quick in terms... Yeah. So quick after I asked the question yesterday is what I meant.
Sorry.
But yeah, it didn't sound that well, did it? But yeah, that's what I meant.
But I think, like I said, to go back to sort of like I'm embarrassed that I didn't stand up for myself. I think, like you just said, then you've got a platform, and maybe we should have took responsibility a little bit earlier. But anyway, we've got a response. We've got the response we wanted. Secondary, I do think it's quite. I would like to see if any other club has said, "Let us keep your money." In another way.
Yeah, you know what? This was something. I'm not necessarily saying it's something because of what happened on the tweet that I put out on Tuesday, but I obviously tagged Burnley official in it, or someone else did. I can't remember. Anyway, within the thread, people were commenting on it saying, "I wouldn't be that bothered actually because it's only X amount of money. I don't need it. Keep it if they want. Give it to a charity." So I reckon that stuff they've seen that. They've seen that some people don't want it back for whatever reason. Because I know there's a lot of loyal listeners that have said that they would let the club keep it, and that's fair enough. But I think for me, it's just the fact that as well that they're still going to continue taking payments for next season as well. So I'm definitely just going to think, well, if you're still taking payments for next season, then I want my money back for last season, especially to cover the payments for next season, which are now coming out in a time when I'm not earning any money, apart from the podcast. Like I've said before on the podcast, that I'm not at Willie Mill and Bradford City anymore for the foreseeable. But I'm definitely going to take that money back to cover that.
My wife's just apologising then for the smoke. But yeah, I think you've got to look at it two ways. You've got to shove another one on there. Right.
At least shut up then, Tracy, please.
You've got to look at it two ways. You've got to think there's the main majority of people are going to have more than one season ticket per household.
Yeah.
And like we said it earlier, we worked out the maths a few weeks ago, that if a family of three, there's potentially £100 worth of season tickets a month, and that's a massive amount of outgoings. And I think that the club could have helped earlier. And for those that are shouting, you can keep the money, I think the possibly majority of that answer would be coming from an individual season ticket holder as opposed to a family of season ticket holders. And my concern is that if you vocalise that, you know what, I need that money back, or I want that money back, which you're entitled to, by the way, you're paying for a service.
Yeah, of course.
You're almost ostracised as not being a true Claret.
Yeah, exactly. People need to realise sort of like the implications that comments can have when they start sharing stuff that people are putting out saying, why isn't this been done quicker, or I need this money back, blah blah blah. If they start sharing comments about saying like, oh, that it's when it could go to charity and you're taking it off a charity, which is essentially not essentially what you're doing, but essentially how some people will word it. It's just one of them things, like people need to be careful that when you're sharing stuff like that and saying, oh, you're not a true fan, blah blah blah, it can have an effect on people.
But it's Mental Health Week, mate, and I know we're not a topical sort of thing like that, but I do think, like you said, it can make you fearful of saying it, and it made me fearful of saying it 3 weeks ago, because I thought, I can't be arsed with the abuse you get for saying, I've earned that money and I want it back, mate. That club doesn't need the season ticket holders' money. It's quite quite public that Premier League can fund itself without fans.
Yeah, of course. I mean, so what do they get off broadcasters? More than £100 million a year.
You get 100 million if you fail. If you finish at the bottom of the league.
It's ridiculous. But yet, I'm going to be not necessarily vilified, but I know some people will sneer and stuff if I say I want my 80 quid back or whatever, because that's what some people are like. But yeah, if they've got X amount of money in the bank, 80 quid to me and probably about 250 quid to you with the amount of season tickets you've got, ain't going to hurt them that much.
It's a difficult one, and every place is in a different situation. Some are working and not earning, like myself and you.
Yeah.
And some are, they're earning and not even working. And I just think that we're all in different positions, and I think you should be sort of careful and mindful before comments are made.
So what are you going to do, if you don't mind me asking? Feel free to not answer that question.
No, I think it's a personal question that everybody will be different for, but my opinion, I will give you my answer. I will credit it towards next season's season ticket. I don't think I will be donating it to the next recruits, unfortunately. I would have done that 10, 20 years ago when I remember they did that before when they raised money, if you remember. Years when we were kids and young adults, I remember they doing a couple of things where it was like, raise money for Vince Overson's youth team. which I've not got the research on me now because it's just come top of
Probably might be a little bit before my time. That I don't remember that, but good memory there. Which is I've never said that to you before in my life.
No. But we did it a few times, and I remember thinking, I want to see the next. As it now it would be J-Rod. I want to see the next so. But it weren't that long ago. It was like 15, 20 years ago. Anyway, long story short, I just think that in this situation now, Burnley Football Club are probably better off than the majority of the people in Burnley.
Yeah, of course. Me personally, I'm gonna get it back because I'm not sure what's happening next season yet. Like, are we going to be in? I know that the EFL, and I'm not sure if I'm allowed to tell people this, but I know that EFL have told EFL clubs that they expect next season to start behind closed doors. And that's the EFL, so why would the EFL be any different to the Premier League? So then, if you're crediting it to next season, yeah, you might just end up getting a big lump sum back next season, but I don't particularly want to. If I'm going to carry on paying for next season now, I want some money to be able to pay for next season while I'm not earning, knowing that next season we could be doing all this again in about 6 months because they might not have any fans at the stadiums next season.
Both sides of the coin here are being discussed. If in League 2, Burnley was in League 2, if we were in League 2, I would definitely say, do you know what? Let's support. I want this club. I don't want to bury. I don't want to do a similar situation where we're going to end up struggling because most League 2 and League 1 clubs are going to struggle without the fan base income.
Yeah.
But we're not in that situation. They don't actually need the money. And I'm in a position where I'm quite reserved about this, but I actually pay £100 more for my personal season ticket this season because of an error that wasn't my fault. And because I couldn't be arsed, like you said, being ostracised and vilified, as you said, that's a better word. It's like I can't be arsed dealing with it. But now I'm paying more, and that's going to come off next season ticket price. It should be less anyway, so I'm just going to credit it.
Let's talk about The Athletic, which is a must for all football fans and has loads of brilliant Burnley content. The Athletic brings you the best coverage of football, combat sports, NFL, NBA and loads more. A world-class team of football writers, including Andy Jones, who covers the Clarets, and it's completely ad-free with no ads and no annoying pop-ups. If you're not signed up to The Athletic yet, fans of Turfcast can now get 50% off the annual subscription price and a 7-day free trial. To get the deal, head to theathletic.co.uk/Turfcast. Has your wife started vaping next year there? Is that another log that's gone on the fire?
No, we're in my garden, do you want to see?
Go on then, show the viewers. Seeing as it's something you're very proud of that.
So that's what's making all the smoke. So apologies, isn't it? This is
so if you are listening on the podcast and you want to see Simon's pride and joy, because that's all he ever talks about every time I see. Oh, I've got this from my garden, mate. I've got that from my garden. It's you become a middle-aged man, aren't you? I think it's fair to say.
I've literally got nothing else to spend my energies on, mate. I'm not gonna lie.
Especially not at the minute, to be fair. First of all, if you haven't already, I know a majority of you listening now will have already listened. What's going on?
It's a joke how bad that smoke got there. When you look down, you couldn't see my face.
Did it? I missed it. But I know everyone listening here now will have already listened probably to the Matt Lawton and the David Jones interviews. But if you haven't already and you just stumbled across Turfcast now, in the last couple of weeks, we've interviewed Matthew Lawton, current Burnley fullback, and David Jones, former championship-winning midfielder, on the podcast, which was absolutely brilliant. And now, they weren't something that you were necessarily too involved with. Like, obviously, you did the...
Nope.
What's it called? The intro and the outro. In both occasions, you actually sorted the interview out and put me in touch with them too as well. But and be honest here, because I haven't prepped you on anything tonight, to be fair. So you can easily just say, "Nah, shit, mate." But I'm going to say, what did you think of the interviews?
Massive, like they're two different sort of stories, isn't it? It's two different points of a career, two different characters, and I think two different interview styles as well. To be honest with you, I think it were. If you see one, you can see the next one and get two completely different sort of feelings to it. And I think the Matty Lawton one was unusually professional, but with that sort of, like you said, there were a couple of moments in there that I was like, okay, that was. Yeah. And the David Jones one, I kind of anticipated the way that one would go, but I was so nervous that he wouldn't. So because I know him personally, I love the guy, and I know how lovable he is when you meet him. So to sometimes see the sort of negative comments that might come for players, I was hoping that wouldn't come towards him, and he's come across really well. So I was buzzing for it, and I think the interview of the second one was just a little bit different. And if I let people watch it before they met their own opinion, but I thought there were two different interview styles.
Yeah, two different personalities, I think it's fair to say. So you've got to try and, as an interviewer, I think you've got to try and get what you can out of that particular personality, I think. So sometimes you've got to try and work different things differently. But I enjoyed doing them anyway. Definitely enjoyed doing them. It's good to get a normal podcast back for a bit, because sometimes, there's things that need discussing and stuff like that you don't get a chance to discuss when you're talking to Matthew Lawton and David Jones. Particularly one of them that's been, rumours recently about Sean Dyche going to Crystal Palace. I don't think we've had much chance to touch on them, but before we do touch on them, what's happened now is in the last few weeks, because we did touch on McNeil going to Palace a few weeks ago, if you remember rightly, a couple of weeks ago, very briefly at the end of, I think it was a Lawton interview or the Jones interview, I can't remember. But now the rumours are that Crystal Palace are going to try and swoop, or should I say the Eagles are going to swoop, for Sean Dyche, Dwight McNeil and James Tarkowski. According to Lancs Live, now this isn't the source, by the way, Lancs Live have written an article after what I think the Mirror had written. Friend of the podcast, Alex James of Lancs Live, has wrote, Sean Dyche and Dwight McNeil have once again been linked with moves to Crystal Palace, and this time the speculation suggests that Eagles also want James Tarkowski. Burnley are loath to lose any of the key trio, with Dyche 7.5 years into his spell at Turf Moor, which has yielded 2 promotions to the Premier League and even European football. The boss is under contract with the Clarets and spoke just last month about growing Burnley to the next level and trying to stretch their financial model to help him do so. Now, another thing that Dyche has said recently, now I haven't heard this myself, so apologies if this isn't exactly spot on, but someone got in touch with the page. Sean Dyche was on Eamon Holmes' podcast, I think it were, recently. And when he was on the podcast, he talked about saying he wouldn't rule out leaving Burnley if he felt he couldn't take the club further. So I think a lot of people did panic when they saw the two things put together, particularly a certain Burnley page that I won't mention, because I don't want to start throwing people on the bus, but a certain page and plenty of people on that page started panicking, saying, "Oh well, if he's not going to rule out a move, then is this the start of us tumbling down the divisions?" Were the exact words that they used, but I think it's all a bit of hearsay over nothing, really, isn't it? It's clearly just speculation. I know sometimes there's no smoke without fire, but when you've got him talking about growing Burnley to the next level and feeling that he can do it, then there's nothing to be worried about for me at the minute.
Mate, this is what frustrates me. It's that players have to. Sorry, well, I'm talking about managers now, but players and managers have to answer certain things at certain times that they're probably not comfortable with, and sometimes just the one way of wording things can be taken from that context and put into wherever it wants. And he might have said, like, "Oh, would you ever rule out a move from Burnley?" And he said, "Well, I can't rule out a move." I don't know. I haven't heard the interview, but as I know, after interviewing them two players that you mentioned, that they have to be reserved in what they say. They can't rule out, because they don't want to go. Let's say Sean Dyche got sacked tomorrow, and then he got a job offered somewhere else, and all the fans would be like, "Well, we don't want him. He said he didn't want to leave Burnley and all that." You've got to sort of weigh out every single opportunity in one answer, and it's a difficult position.
The amount of times that Dyche, remember last time Palace were linked, 2-3 years ago, he was asked on numerous occasions, and he never once said, "I am not going to Palace, I am staying at Burnley." He never once did it. And then the articles would always turn around to Dyche refuses to rule out a move to Palace. That's essentially... Exactly. So you just got to think about how stuff's worded as well by newspapers, and look at interviews as well and stuff like that before people start panicking. Because like I said, people panicking and thinking that's it, we're dropping down the divisions again. Even if Dyche left, I don't think we'd drop down the divisions. We might lose his Premier League status for a few years or something, but we're in a brilliant position now, and no way will we ever drop down the divisions like we did. I don't think, anyway.
I think you've got to look at everything. When Owen Coyle, the name that we don't like saying anymore, but when he left, I remember thinking, shit, is this the start of the end? And it didn't turn out with Brian Laws, but then Eddie Howe come in and Sean Dyche, and it's all sort of like, it's all a distant memory, innit? And I think that if Dyche leaves, it might be the start of the end, or it might be the start of the next chapter.
Yeah, I mean, look at an article today in the Burnley Express. Adrian Heath saying he regrets leaving Burnley. I mean, it's like a lot of people will comment on that on the Burnley Express page, and I shared it on Turfcast as well, saying like, "Oh, I was gutted about this at the time," but someone else commented saying, "Yeah, I was gutted as well at the time, but history would be different if he'd have stayed. Like Chris Waddle wouldn't have come in, and then
awful.
and then Chris Waddle obviously had to get sacked within a year." And then Turnant wouldn't have come in if Inchy was still here, maybe. So, history would have been different. It's the same again, like, if Dyche leaves, it could be because, we're clearing the way for somebody else in history. Like, obviously, I'm just playing devil's advocate
clarify,
here.
I'm talking as Adrian Heath as a manager, not as a player. But, as a manager, like, Chris Waddle was awful, but not as a player.
Yeah.
But, it's not... I don't like comments like that at the stage of where he's at.
Yeah, where is he now? I think he's over in America, isn't he? He's in Shea.
He was at Orlando for a short while, but
he were.
I'm not 100% sure where he is now. But again, it's easy to come out with, like, this is my personal opinion. I've never met the man, but it's easy to come out with comments like, "Oh, I should never have left them." But tell me a man that wouldn't have been tempted by that opportunity.
Oh yeah, cool. I think what we were in Division 2 at the time. Now League 1. They were in the Premier League, of course. They've always been in the Premier League. So you're never gonna. That's what I mean. Like, when you look back on certain things that I did in life, like, I probably at the time shouldn't have quit a job at a TV station in Liverpool to go to Mexico. But looking back on it, it's just one of them things, isn't it? Like, you can always say I shouldn't have done it or I should have done it, but at the time, you're always going to do it.
You got to take ownership. You got to take control of what you're doing. And Marlon Beresford is a good example of a similar sort of time. Left to go to Arsenal as a number 3 because that opportunity was there for him. It didn't work out. It come back and he still proved himself.
Did he go to Arsenal? I thought he went to Middlesbrough.
Sorry, Arsenal were linked with him. Do you remember? Did he go to Arsenal as well?
He might have done. I'll just try and help you.
Middlesbrough definitely.
Weirdly, the first picture that comes up when you search Marlon Beresford is Tom Eaton.
What the fuck? But yeah, I remember Arsenal being linked with him that year as a third choice. Maybe he didn't go and then went to Middlesbrough, but he ended up being a second choice there.
Yeah, well, 1992-98, played for Burnley, 240 appearances, went to Middlesbrough for 4 years. Is that your dog?
Yeah.
For 4 years, played only 10 games, went on loan to Sheff Wednesday at Wolves, and then came back to Burnley on loan before quickly going to York City and then coming back to Burnley again.
Exactly, yeah. So, but Middlesbrough was a Premier team at the time.
Yeah.
We was Division 2. He went there, ended up being a second choice, and then we ended up coming back to here after stints at other clubs. He still got a chance to prove himself. So the ADE comment anyway, it's like you can't. The dog's going sick. But yeah, you can't come out with comments like that 30 years later and try and get a fan base back on your side. That's what it felt like.
Yeah, fair enough. I always remember that thing about Beresford leaving. I remember when he came back, he used to mark his post out on his 6-yard box. I remember saying to my dad, like, once from top at Jimmy Mack, saying, he never used to do that. Why has he started doing that? My dad went, he must have learnt it at Middlesbrough, Cheeks.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, my dad calls me Cheeks.
Like, ask your dad, and ask anyone else who's at that age that might remember better than me. But I'm positive he was linked with Arsenal, and I think maybe Middlesbrough come in at the last minute and actually made an offer.
There you go. Any Clarets fans that are of a certain age and have better memories than me and Simon, please get in touch and let us know if it was linked with Arsenal or anything. That's pretty much it. I know it's only a bit of a quick fire one, but it is 10 to midnight now, and as much as we are trying to get chatting about stuff again without an interview, there isn't still that much to talk about really, unless you've got anything you want to add.
Yeah, I want to quickly throw in there a massive well done to Joe Skinner, who's suffers with his own disability, and which is the irrelevant part, but he's actually doing a 2-day boxing challenge. He works for Burnley's in the community team as a football coach. He's wheelchair bound and he's doing a 2-day boxing challenge, and he's raised a lot of money for Pendle Hospice. Today's his first day, which is the Wednesday. Are we on? Today's his first day, which is Wednesday.
Day of recording, yes, Wednesday.
And the day this goes out, it will be Thursday, which is the second day, so he should have completed it by the time this gets out and listened to. But yeah, massive well done, mate. He doesn't feel about that.
Yeah, so what was his name, sorry?
Joe Skinner.
So there you go, Joe Skinner. Yeah, massive congrats, and everyone will back you as well. And if I see it, because I weren't aware of this, If I see it, I'll give it a share. If you see it, Simon gives a tag in it, I'll give one of his videos a share on Turfcast, because I weren't aware of this, and hopefully we can help him get some more things. But quickly, just before we go, I do want to mention that we have a quiz now. Every Sunday at 7 p.m. I like that smile there. Every Sunday 7 p.m. Evening, Darren, if you're listening and watching. And anyone else associated with Burnley Football Club. Yeah, it's a brilliant idea. It's a fantastic idea, and I've no idea where the club decided to get the idea to do their own from, but it is what it is. But I ain't going to stop. I'm going to carry on doing it just because the club are doing theirs, and obviously they'll have more production and all that sort of stuff because they're a full team. And they'll have the rights and stuff as well. It ain't going to stop me doing it. I'm still going to do it. So I know there's a lot of people that listen to the podcast that are loyal listeners to the podcast that don't do the quiz. That's fine. If you don't want to do the quiz, that's fine. But if you've got a spare hour on Sunday night at 7 o'clock, come along, join us. I know Simon tries to do it every week. He doesn't do very well.
I know, I'm a shambles. Number one, I'm a shambles.
A bit harsh on yourself, that, mate. But...
And number two, my live is at 8 o'clock on my own work page.
Yeah.
And it's only been delayed an hour, by the way. It used to be 7 until you started at 7. So then I'm like, I have to dip out. But thankfully, I've never been in a position where I'm even willing to be concerned at coming out at 7:45. But it's multiple choice, mate. You tell me, if you said to me, what was the time that so and so happened, I'd be like, 100% is that. And then you put a multiple choice in front of me, and I'm like, oh, I don't know.
See, multiple choice helps everyone else. I'm always like, it must be that. Then I see it, then I'm like, well, it's there, so it must be that.
Hey, Chris Waddle question: who was the first ever player manager? That is a perfect example, because I had Eddie in my head. As soon as Chris Waddle comes up, I'm like, oh yeah, Chris Waddle. Put Chris Waddle, Eddie.
Back yourself, mate. Back yourself. But yeah, it's going to be back this week. Eventually, I'm going to start doing prizes as well. I probably shouldn't have said that, because Burnley will do prizes for their quiz next Wednesday.
I'll get better prizes than they get, mate.
I don't know. We'll try. We'll definitely try. But yeah, just another quick shout out to Pitch Sport. If you aren't already, please go and download it. I'll be uploading another question if I can think of one, because I am genuinely running out of stuff to ask about Burnley Football Club on the Pitch Sport app. Pitch Sport are well aware that I'm running out of stuff to ask as well. I tell them every time, I'm like, mate, I don't know what to ask, so I've just asked this. But yeah, if you aren't already, please go and download it. If you don't already, follow us on the old social media channels. Just search Turfcast Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and especially YouTube. We're trying to get our YouTube numbers up. But yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week. And who knows, we could have another interview, but maybe not. It might be me and Simon again. Bye.